Open my eyes! My eyes! Ah!
What is up, everybody, and welcome to my spoiler review for Thor Ragnarok. Now, I'm not going to be able to cover everything that happened in the movie just because I don't want this to be an hour-long video. So if there's anything I missed, put it in the comments down below. Let's have a discussion, and this is just filled with spoilers, so let's talk about it. Thor loses an eye! I love in the beginning when Thor's chained up and just going in circles whilst talking with Surtur. Wait a minute, hold on, yes, and what were we talking about? Led Zeppelin kicks in, then we see Thor using his hammer in really fun ways. I love the camera perspective of the hammer going through everybody and then being retracted and coming back to Thor. That was really awesome. He kills Surtur, comes back to Asgard, where he hasn't been there for a while. In fact, Heimdall was basically charged for treason and fled, so they've got this new person here. I love the scene where it shows his stuff. He's got the two guns. He's like, I call this one Des and this one Troy, because when you put them together, they destroy. That's the humor that I wanted out of this movie. That's some of the humor that hit. Thor comes to see Odin, who's watching this play, this reenactment of what happened with Loki and Thor. And we know in Thor the Dark World that Loki didn't die, but he actually became Odin. We don't know what happened to Odin, but he took his place on the throne. And they're watching this reenactment of Thor and Loki. It's being played by none other than Matt Damon. It was almost a little bit too hard to tell it was Matt Damon at first. After a couple minutes, then you could tell the theater just started slowly getting it, and we're just laughing a little harder and harder. He grabs Loki, pulls him by the back of the hair, tries to bring back the hammer through Loki's face to get him to come out. Obviously, none of the Asgardians knew that this was Loki. Now they're on a task to go and find where Loki put Odin, who apparently has just been in front of a green screen the whole time. Who would have thought that? So we're at the green screen Norway, and we're talking with Odin. Odin's saying that his time has come, it's time to die. Turns out that they've got a big sister, not a big deal, just kind of slide that under the rug. She's coming back suddenly because Odin's power had control over keeping her at bay now that he's passing away, and he passes on, and like this weird kind of sprinkle dust thing just kind of spritz off into the green screen ocean. And then immediately after that, Hela shows up. Now, I would say that this was probably the thing that bothered me the most. When it shows Hela in the trailer, she's in this alleyway when she crushes Thor's hammer. Here she's in Norway green screen, which is okay if they did it in Norway, but the green screen is so horribly noticeable that it's just like, oh, I wish you'd have kept the alley. It looked a little bit better. In any case, Hela crushes the hammer. Thor and Loki and Hela have this fight in the Bifrost where they're both split out, and then they end up on this planet together, which is basically a trash planet that also is kind of like meant for big arena gladiator fights. You get your introduction to Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie, who again she's basically like Han Solo for Thor Ragnarok. You get to see Big Guy, you get to see Thor. I love when they're in the arena and Thor starts giving Scarlett Johansson's lines from Age of Ultron.
Hey, Big Guy. Sun's getting real low.
They do a really good job of like making it seem a little serious. Like, it's funny to us, but we're like, ooh, maybe this is gonna work with Hulk. And then Hulk just proceeds to just bash the crap out of him the same way actually that he did with Loki, so that when Loki sees this, he's just up in the arena going, yes, that's how it feels. Hulk and Thor have their fight. Again, they kind of leave it up in the air. I wish they would just definitively say who can beat who in a fight. I hate how they keep doing these weird ties every time they do a fight like this. And then for the rest of the second act, Thor is basically trying to get everybody together, get the gang together to go and fight Hela. Hulk eventually turns back into Bruce Banner. The best special effects for sure was in this moment when they were switching him back to being Bruce Banner. I was really into seeing him just kind of like bulge out and then back into Bruce Banner while he's just crying and hitting himself. It was one of those moments that kind of hit a little bit harder. It had a little bit more of an emotional depth. It might have had more depth to me personally than when Odin died. They end up meeting back up with Valkyrie, they grab Loki, they find this nice gold ship, and they're heading into the Devil's Anus, which what they call that big red sky beam. Now, during this entire time, Hela's not really doing much of anything. She's just going around Asgard. She's wiped out the entire army, all of Thor's friends, except for Sif for some reason. In fact, she wasn't even in the movie. Heimdall has gotten kind of like a sanctuary of all of the people of Asgard in these walls, kind of like the Mines of Moria, and Hela's just sitting around on the throne. That's the thing. It's tough for me to say that this is a great Marvel villain. The more I'm thinking about it, is it that Cate Blanchett is just such a good actress that she enhances what she was able to do with this character? Or was this just a weak villain? She really doesn't do much of anything through the meat of the movie. Only the first and third act is when she comes out and does something. And she does do something in the third act. She totally cuts Thor's eye out. I honestly did not see that coming, and that was a really cool twist that they did with Thor, as well as just not giving him back his hammer. I'm not sure he's ever gonna get it back, but he's got this awesome new power set. There's this really great battle scene on the Rainbow Bridge that had Led Zeppelin playing again. They bring Surtur back, the big devil god. He turns into a mountain. and destroys Asgard for what we know destroys Hela, and Thor and all of the people from Asgard have been put onto this vessel. They're in space, they're trying to find a new place, and they hint that they're going to start to colonize on Earth. I don't know how I feel about Asgardians being integrated into Earth. I believe that's just in a lot of other things that they're going to have to address in Infinity War that just doesn't really feel like it should be addressed, just because they have so much other stuff that they need to cover for that movie. And then of course we had our after credits scene where this big ship shows up in front of all of the Asgardians in that ship, very clearly hinting at Thanos being the head of that ship. I don't know what's going to happen there. It looks like Thor actually had a different costume, so it might have been a scene straight out of Infinity War. Overall, I had a really good time with Thor Ragnarok. It had a lot of great humor in it. I loved all of the moments with Thor and Hulk. Valkyrie was badass. Kate Blanchett as Hela. I loved how they turned everything that Thor was on its head. They took away a lot from him. They cut his hair off. They took his hammer. They blinded him. Moving forward, I'm excited to see what they do with the next Thor installment, and I really hope that they do end up making this like a new trilogy for Thor. That is my spoiler-filled review. What did you think about it? Whatever you thought, leave a comment down below. And thank you so much as always for watching, and I will see you at the next review.